Good morning, this is Hughes from Outdoorstaycations. What I really want to go over today is it always surprises me how people work so hard to protect their house. They have ADT security, they have alarms, they've got lights and so on and so forth, and don't realize how easy it is to leave your RV or travel trailer at risk. And I'm going to go through some of the risk points on an RV travel trailer, and then some of the simple ways you can fix it. You know, obviously anybody that wants to get into a trailer will get into it. Same as a house. If they're desperate enough to get into it, they will find a way into it. But at least this will make your RV a little safer and hopefully keep it a little more discouraging for somebody to try and either steal from you or actually steal your RV or trailer. First item I'm going to go over is your entranceway. Your entranceway has two locks, the upper one and then lower. If you take a careful look at the upper lock, you're going to see a small code in it. Mine happens to say M. What that means is that that particular lock takes an M master key. It's quite simple that when an RV dealer goes onto the lot to open up his 100 or 200 units, he doesn't go out with 200 sets of keys. So every manufacturer has a master key, and if you are in the RV business, you can buy them. RV repair business, you can buy them. So if you leave and you only lock your M, in my case M, you're at risk. Second thing I always make sure I do when I travel or I go out is I have a window right next to my door, and it's quite obvious that if my window was open, somebody can easily slice it, reach in, flip the lock, and get in through the door that way. So in my particular case, before I leave for the day, I make sure this one is closed and all the others are at half close. But as long as you keep locking the bottom section of the lock, remember you saw there was an upper and a lower, the lower is unique to your key. I always, when I leave, I lock them both. This way I'm sure I got the right one. But as long as you lock the lower, you have a better chance of somebody not breaking in, and of course keeping the windows closed, like I said, or half. A second area of concern are your storage containers. If you go and get your keys, like I have, and you take a look, mine says CH751. It may come as a surprise that almost all trailer keys are keyed to 2 or 3 different sets. If you look in the sales manual, they're called Econo Chem locks. You can buy 751 keys, you can buy 571 keys, 785. So in realistic sense, if you need to get into your storage compartment and you don't have a key, ask your neighbor. You can use theirs. Closed. When you get to the storage compartment, I showed you that most of them are pretty much the same. They're standard. Why, I'm not sure, but they are. What I did is I replaced all mine. I went online to that Amazon website like everybody else does, and if you see from the hole here, I replaced the locks. To replace the lock, all you need is a crescent wrench, a screwdriver, and a tape measure. And the measurements that you're going to need when you order new ones online are the diameter of the hole itself. And notice I took it off, it's in my hand. The diameter of the hole, there are, I think, 2 or 3 different size diameters, so you need that right. The second thing you're going to need is the depth of the latch. In other words, how far in does it go? How thick is your door? You know, a thinner door needs a shorter one, a thicker door needs a longer one. The last measurement you're going to need is the actual latch itself. There are several different kinds. You see mine has a small curve to it. Some are straight, some are longer. Some of the packages sell all of them in the same package, which mine did, so it was relatively simple. But if you are going to need, or if you're not going to buy a full package, make sure you measure the length of your latch, because it's determined by the ridge on the inside that this catches to, is the depth of it. And again, whether it's flat or it's curved in the case of mine. And lastly, some measurements you might need are actually how far in is the latch from the surface. Pretty easy. Like I said, 1 bolt holds it in. I replaced a package of 4 and I was good to go. I'm going to pause it in a second. Now your next area of concern would be, in our case, the kingpin latch where it latches up into your saddle. Again, if you don't have a lock on it or on the ball of your travel trailer, I've just shown you how somebody can open up your door, get inside, bring your slide-ins in, how they can get into your storage compartment to lift your legs up on your fifth wheel. In my case, mine's actually on the outside. You don't even need to get into a storage compartment. So we'll discuss locks on that next. Your last area of concern, in our case, we have a fifth wheel. If you're having a travel trailer, you obviously have the ball and the receiver on. And I'm going to show you how quick it is for one of these to disappear. Now assume that somebody pulled up next to you in a pickup truck. And just bear with me. Two simple pins. And this is gone. And gone. Now, I'm a little up in age, so I did it probably a lot slower than somebody that really wanted it would walk away with it. But if they walk away with your fifth wheel receiver and horse collar, they only have to spend $200 or so for a new set of plates, and then they have their own fifth wheel setup. And the receiver's just as bad. Pull the pin, walk away. Yeah, it's only $80, maybe $70, $80. But it's yours. Now in a minute I'm going to catch my breath and then come back and talk to you about what we can do. Keep our stuff. Small horse collar, a pin, and you notice the difference between a standard pin and the locking pin. Actually has a bevel to it. And that's it, as simple as that. Is it cut offable? Sure. But again, the whole idea is to slow somebody down. Many times these trailers disappear so quick, nobody even knows they're gone. Every step we're taking is to try and slow it down so it raises somebody's suspicion, hopefully a neighbor, a ranger in a particular park. So now instead of just walking away, they're going to have to really work very hard to get into your trailer, to get the legs up, to cut the lock off. It would bring, I hopefully would bring suspicion. Now going back to your hitch on your truck. Now the fifth wheel itself, I have a lockable pin. Okay, I got that fixed. Apparently I've never taken them both off at the same time. Like anything else in video, things can go wrong, and apparently I put the wrong lock on the wrong pin, but I've got it worked. As you can see behind me, the pin itself is in right here with the lock on it. And again, the whole idea is to slow somebody down. If they want something hard enough, they're going to take it. Now, why should we be concerned? Well, we've been camping, Mary and I, for about 40 years. And when we first started camping, camping was an adventure. People were campers at heart, friendly, outgoing, and you could left anything out and never have to worry about it walking away on its own. Well, camping has changed over the last 40 years. Now when you go into a park, you often see a trailer with air conditioners hanging out the back windows and more stuff on their site that they could actually ever brought themselves. And apparently it looked like a truck would have come in and dumped a whole bunch of junk on their site. That being said, now it becomes a lifestyle. People live in campgrounds. Now, do they have the same value of the campers of 40 years ago? I hope so, but I don't think so personally. I do know that I carry a lot of stuff in my trailer. I carry a generator, which is very expensive to me, and I would not want to see it show up at a pawn shop at Christmas time. I've just showed that many of your compartments are pretty standard. Anybody that owns a trailer can probably get into your storage unit unless the locks have been changed. And again, it's a sad life we live in, even to the extent when FEMA, when they come in, they buy 100 trailers and they put them up at the local campground. And again, they're not bad people. I'm not saying they're bad people, but they're not campers with a camper-spirited heart. So again, just in retrospect, we talked about the front entranceway, your windows. We talked about your cargo doors, what you should do to change them. The kingpin on the fifth wheel, and there's also one for your travel trailer. It has a lock across the ball through the receiver. We talked about the fifth wheel horse collar setup, the lock you can get for that. And the same lock for this is the same one that goes on your receiver down below, especially if you have one of those fancy receivers with multiple balls. Again, one pin and it's gone. And again, I hope to think nothing's ever going to happen to you or to me. But some of the best things to do is prepare for the worst and hope for the best. This is Hughes from Outdoorstaycation. Ring the bell. The next video I'm going to do, hopefully in another week or two, is how to change your tire without jacks. It should be an interesting video. Please sign up. And again, I apologize if the trucks override my voice in some cases. I was hopefully going to do this at a quieter time, but it's not going to get that way. It's just been busy nonstop for the 6-7 weeks I've been here. Again, Hughes from Outdoorstaycation. Safe journeys.